Won't run for a third term? That is the widespread scuttlebutt in Madison. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. A tornado warning is in effect for Columbia and Sauk counties that has just been extended into southwest Fond du Lac County until 3:30. A strong line of storms is moving through south central and into southeastern Wisconsin as we speak. There have been a number of tornadoes, radar indicated and spotter seen. We are going to bring you the very latest on these storms as they move through both the Madison and Milwaukee areas throughout this afternoon. So be sure to stay here with the Dan O'Donnell Show. We will be running all required warnings and provide coverage of these storms if they get severe. Now, these are expected to be very fast moving.
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a tornado warning for southwestern Fond du Lac County and east central Wisconsin, northwestern Dodge County and southeastern Wisconsin until 3:30 p.m. At 3:03 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Waupun, moving northeast at 25 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Waupun, Fox Lake, Alto, and Atwater. Other landmarks included are the following location: Horicon Marsh. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
Love how the robotic voice from the National Weather Service pronounces Waupun, but it is serious. If you are in Waupun or Waupun, which is the proper pronunciation, please do seek shelter. This is Wisconsin. We are used to these, no matter how severe the storms get. We did have a very severe round of storms about a month and a half ago hit Dodge County. Dodge County, by the way, has now been added to that tornado warning, which remains in effect until about 3:30. The storms, as of right now, it is a very, very big line of storms that is just moving out of the Madison area. There is another little bit that is going to just move a bit north of Madison. In the Milwaukee area, it looks like the city of Milwaukee, as I'm looking at AccuWeather radar right now, is probably going to be a little lucky in that, at least as of right now, it appears that the track of this storm is going to break up as it moves just to the north and just to the south. Now, don't get me wrong, there are going to be pockets of storm that pop up, but the heaviest areas of sustained storm activity, and again, this is going to be moving very, very quickly, are going to be deep to our south near the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Kenosha, probably by about 4:30, 4:45, somewhere in there. The storms are largely going to dissipate. Jefferson County, Waukesha, Milwaukee, not going to see the most activity, at least as of the best radar that we can find, which I find to be AccuWeather, on an hour-by-hour, minute-by-minute basis. That is the track of the storm that we're watching right now. But again, tornado warning, Columbia, Sauk, Fond du Lac, and Dodge counties for about the next 19 minutes. If you are in any of those counties, please be weather aware. If you are in the path of this storm, any of the cities that were listed in that warning, please do seek shelter, get to a basement, get to an interior room of your house, away from windows, away from anywhere you could be struck by flying debris. Again, we will continue to cover the severe weather moving across the entire state of Wisconsin right now, as I believe 32 counties currently are under a tornado watch throughout the Dan O'Donnell Show. Stay with us all afternoon long. Sizzling summer cash contest time. Nationwide keyword this hour, money. MONEY, money. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword money to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win $1,000 in cash money instantly. Chances for you to win at 3 o'clock, 4, and 5. Yesterday, we devoted a substantial amount of time to the Jeffrey Epstein story, helping you know exactly what is true, exactly what is not. Separate fact from fiction, conspiracy from reality. Today, President Trump was asked multiple times about the Jeffrey Epstein case while he was meeting with the leader of Bahrain in the Oval Office. We will get to that as part of the daily Trump date. And a rather remarkable opinion piece in the pages of the New York Times. Is it finally time to stop shunning your right-wing family? A former Obama speechwriter talks about the process of reconciling with his brother-in-law who committed the cardinal sin of not getting a COVID vaccine 5 years ago. Yes, these people are actually serious, and they really did sever family ties for going on now 5+ years. All that, plus the unhinged liberal of the day, the unsung hero of the day, and more on the Dan O'Donnell Show. You want to join us? 414-799-1130 is our adventknows.com talk and text line. Reach us toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email DOD@iHeartMedia.com. Social media at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook as well. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. I want to be clear. I am not reporting that Governor Evers will announce that he's not running for a third term because, frankly, I can't get that information locked down. What I can tell you, in working the phones and talking to as many people as I possibly have been able to talk to over the past couple of days, the consensus in state government, Democrats and Republicans alike, is that Governor Evers is going to announce one way or another this week, likely within the next 48 hours. My guess is that with the storms moving through right now, he's not going to put out a press release or make a statement or hold a press conference or anything like that this afternoon. More likely, the announcement is going to come tomorrow. The general thinking is that the announcement is going to be that he is not going to seek a third term as governor. There has only been one man who has ever won the governorship more than twice. That is Tommy Thompson, widely regarded as the most popular governor in Wisconsin history. A Democrat, has never been elected 3 times. The man Evers defeated back in 2018, Scott Walker, attempted to be the second man to win 3 terms. He did not. In a big Democrat year, the 2018 midterm elections, Evers barely snuck past him. It is widely expected that 2026 is going to be another big Democrat year simply because Donald Trump won the presidency in 2024. And usually the party that does not control the presidency does very well in those midterm elections. Just look at Republicans in the red wave years of 2010 and 2014 as voters essentially rebelled against President Obama and the Obama Obamacare reforms in 2010 and any number of Obama-era scandals, from NSA snooping to the IRS targeting scandal in 2013, they turned out in force for Republicans in 2014, paving the way for Trump's unexpected victory in 2016. 2026, however, might not be shaping up to be as big a Democrat year as initially thought. Remember, almost everyone, myself included, based on all of the historical data, thought 2022 was going to be another red wave year because of Republican dissatisfaction and outright anger over Joe Biden's win in the controversial 2020 election. It was not a red wave. In fact, it was barely a red ripple. Republicans won the House, but barely. They failed to take control of the Senate. They only did that in 2024 following another sweeping Trump victory. Could Democrats be about to suffer the same fate? Some polling suggests that they might be. We'll get into that coming up later on this hour. Getting back to Wisconsin, however, the clearest indicator yet that Evers is in fact going to announce that he's not seeking a third term, just like with incumbent Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Bradley, is his fundraising. Governor Evers so far this year has raised about $757,000. In 2021, at the exact same point in July, he had raised $5 million when it was obvious he was going to run for a second term. In July of 2021, he had $7 million in cash on hand. Right now, he has $2 million. Now, this isn't proof positive that he's not going to run again, just as it wasn't last week proof positive when Bradley announced that she had raised a grand total of $0. Actually, nothing. She has not raised a single cent in the first 6 months of 2025. In fact, the last amount of money that she raised was $700 back in 2022. That seems to indicate that she has no intention of running again because of the amount of money that it would take to win a Supreme Court race. It would take even more money, one would think, to win the governorship later in the year. And while Evers does still have a massive advantage in cash on hand over either of his two announced Republican opponents, Josh Schoemann and Bill Berrien, this is not the sort of war chest that you want to go into battle with. It also would seem as though Evers was, over the past 6 months, not really focused on a re-election bid. Oftentimes, as I always say, it's a lot more instructive to pay attention to what politicians and political candidates are doing rather than what they're saying. In this case, you want to focus on what Evers has not been doing, and that's fundraising. He has not been as active as a fundraiser as he was clearly in either 2017 when he was facing a crowded primary or in 2021. Again, I do not have inside knowledge or direct knowledge of Evers's plans. In fact, what I keep getting when I talk to people who I believe would have some semblance of insider knowledge is that nobody seems to know what it is that Evers is thinking, but most are of the opinion that he's not likely to run for a third term. A big reason why? A poll less than a month ago showing that 55% of people in this state don't want him to run for a third term. The Marquette University Law School poll put out on June 25th shows that 83% of Democrats, 37% of independents, and just 7% of Republicans want Evers to run again. Evers is very personally popular. He is the most popular political figure in Wisconsin, according to all of the most recent polling. But there was a Morning Consult poll that was released this morning showing the net favorability ratings of every single governor in the United States, all 50 of them. Evers has a net approval rating of plus 17. Meaning his positives, people who say he's doing a good job, have a positive opinion of him, 17 points higher than those who have a negative opinion of him. Plus 17 is a great approval rating for a national political figure. For a state political figure like a governor, it's actually not that great. According to Morning Consult, Evers' plus 17 favorability rating in his home state, in the state he leads, is just the 33rd best in the country. Number one, plus 38. I believe it is Andy Beshear in Kentucky, oddly enough, a Democrat in a Republican state. After the break, I completely forgot to look down the list. Interestingly enough, he has got the same favorability as Ron DeSantis in Florida, who is very, very popular amongst conservatives and Republicans, but obviously reviled because of his national status by the left. This makes Evers the 17th least popular governor in America, somewhere you really probably don't want to be when running for re-election. Taken all together and taken with the fact that Evers is almost certainly polling his popularity and polling his re-election chances and polling the very real idea of Tony Evers fatigue, this leads me to believe as well that Evers is probably, also given his age, likely to retire, to decide that he's not going to run for a third term. Ultimately, though, is it at all relevant what someone like me, one of Evers' chief political opponents, thinks? No. What do Democrats think? That's very instructive. It also seems to indicate that he's not going to run for a third term, and we will get into that next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Radio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Lenovo and the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Tech that hits different. Can your gear keep up with the beat? Lenovo PCs are built for creators, dreamers, and fans who don't hit pause. Visit Lenovo.com for the latest in AI PCs and game-changing tech.
Summer is all about making memories, right? Backyard barbecues, road trips, maybe finally getting around to that hiking trail you've been eyeballing. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. So here's a thought. Call 1-800-4RELIEF and try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made from natural ingredients. Best part? Relief Factor doesn't mask pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's kayaking, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in a hammock, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 1-800-4RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Divorce is challenging, but getting a favorable outcome shouldn't be. I'm attorney Tom Grieve with Divergent Family Law. At Divergent Family Law, our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. We believe everyone deserves guidance through life's toughest transitions. During our free consultation, we'll give you a clear breakdown of the process and a flat rate quote for representation. Our attorneys will give you an honest assessment of your options based on Wisconsin law and your local judges. They'll help you make informed, confident decisions. You deserve to feel secure, not shortchanged. You may feel pressured to play nice with your spouse, or you may feel like you have no choice but to dig your heels in to fight on every topic. But being fair doesn't mean giving up your fair share. At Divergent Family Law, we're here to protect your future and prioritize what's truly important to you. You can be fair and still get your fair share. or better. Reach out now for a free divorce consultation. Go to divergentfamilylaw.com. That's divergentfamilylaw.com.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Warshawski trial attorney Frank Crivello here.
Folks, I'm Victor Harding. Frank is selected Best Lawyers 2024 Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year.
More impressive is Victor Harding named Product Liability Attorney of the Year again for 2024.
It may sound boastful to mention these prestigious awards.
It's not boastful considering if you or someone you love is injured, you need to know 2 attorneys from the same personal injury firm being chosen by other lawyers and judges for these caliber of awards is very rare.
Heaven forbid you ever need an injury claim made on your behalf. If you do, the quality of your attorney and law firm will have a greater impact on the outcome than even the facts of your case.
Former clients, other lawyers, judges, law enforcement officers, and even insurance adjusters,
often our adversaries,
refer their family and friends to Warshawski because they know Warshawski will achieve maximum compensation.
Injured? It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
That's Warshawski.com.
I'm Kelly Lammert at Clean Living Environments. Exhausted today because last night was sweaty and sleepless? Kids upstairs can't sleep unless your bedroom is freezing and you're overwhelmed by stifling humid heat just a few steps up the stairs? Clean Living Environment Clean ducts allow more cool air to make it through your vents to the farthest room from the furnace and every room in between. Clean Living Environment's AeroSeal duct sealing allows your furnace and ducts to deliver cool, refreshing air as your HVAC system was designed. The engineer didn't account for loosely fitted pipes snaking from the furnace through walls to vents or loosely boxed off stud spaces and right angle returns forcing air out of ducts. Literally tonnage of cool air escaping into the basement, walls, and attic before reaching intended rooms. Dank basement air sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house results in dust, musty smells, less cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Upgrading summer is cool. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's CleanLivingEnvironments.com.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number 1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
As tornado warnings in Columbia and Sauk counties are expiring in a minute, there is a new one that was just issued for Southwest Dodge County until 4 p.m. The National Weather Service just within the last couple of minutes making that warning. Do we have Jefferson County too? Am I seeing that, producer Eric? I'm seeing that. All right. The emergency alert system is just starting to go off again. Are we going to air that here? It's not totally necessary. Okay, we are going to be airing an emergency alert. I believe, Eric, when we have weather like this, we have the option for counties outside of Milwaukee, Waukesha, our immediate listening area. I believe that we do have a duty to the public to air these. In fact, this is one of the primary reasons that local radio, live local radio, is so important, a potentially life-saving medium. And I say that not only because I am on live local radio right now, but because this is the place where you get immediate information. If you are in Southwest Dodge County, you unfortunately are well aware of the threat that severe summer weather can bring with powerful tornadoes and heavy winds, damaging storms that moved through earlier in the summer, causing just all manner of devastation. It does not appear that this line of storms is as powerful as the one that ripped through Dodge County. What was that, about 6 weeks-ish ago? But still, I am going to repeat myself and say, remain weather aware. Don't do anything stupid. You don't want to go out and, post videos of the oncoming tornado to TikTok. We did have a confirmed tornado touchdown west of Madison. I have been trying to, during the commercial break, keep pace with some of the weather spotters that we have in the field with the National Weather Service, and I have not seen any other confirmed tornadoes just yet, but we do have that tornado warning. Okay, it is Dodge County and Dodge County only, effective now until 4:10 p.m. for that tornado warning. Pretty much the rest of the state is under, at least the eastern part of the state is under a tornado watch pretty much all evening. Very fast moving line of storms, which is good because of the heat, because of the ability of this storm system to just suck up that hot air and fuel itself. You don't want a storm system that's moving very slowly, because that has the potential to cause much more damaging winds. We want this thing out of here and over Lake Michigan as quickly as possible. Again, we will bring you the very latest on the severe weather throughout the afternoon here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. If we do need to go to wall-to-wall coverage, if things get that bad, we will certainly do so, although that will be a wait-and-see approach. Also, if we need to stay here after 6 p.m. when the show ends, at least for our listeners on News Talk 1130 WISN, we will certainly do that as well. I'll tell you what, let's just very quickly, Eric, if I may, can we check in with Tom Wachs on Fox 6, just get a sense of what it is he's seeing, because he is very, very good. I dare say one of the very best in Wisconsin at covering these severe storms. Let's check in with our friend Tom Wachs at Fox 6.
County areas, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. I know that kind of goes without saying, right? But all of these cells have been spinning. We have had reports of multiple tornadoes in southern Wisconsin today because the wind shear in the atmosphere has aligned along with, of course, the heat and humidity. It's been a hot day today. So let's zoom this in a little bit. We are south of Mayville. Here comes the update. And we are south of Mayville, near the Hubbard area. We are, it looks like, just north of Hustisford. Let's scroll south a little bit there, Holly, if you could. Go down the other way. There you go. So we are just north of Hustisford. Let's go back to the storm relative velocity on this. So Houston, it's on the northwest side of town right now, and it's still there. It's a tight couplet, as we would call it, the red and green next to each other, and it is making its way to the northeast. So this is going to head towards Hubbard and potentially Mayville as well.
All right, that is Tom Wachs of Fox 6. We will check back in with him as the storm is making its way, as he said, through Hustisford on its way to Mayville. Hartford, you are next up, although it looks like the storm system is moving, at least the most severe part of it is moving a bit northeast of Hartford, although I'm seeing a bit of the remnants. So when I say that the worst of it, you're probably getting very heavy rain. You're getting
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a tornado warning for southeastern Columbia County in south-central Wisconsin, northeastern Dane County in south-central Wisconsin, west-central Dodge County in southeastern Wisconsin until 4 p.m. At 3:30 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Columbus, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. Locations impacted include Columbus, Fall River, Otsego, Doylestown, Danville, East Bristol, and South Beaver Dam. Take cover now. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. doors, in a mobile home, or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris.
All right, as you heard, Dane County, now Columbia County, Sauk County as well. New tornado warnings are up there. We do have, as you heard, Fox 6 meteorologist Tom Wachs say confirmed tornadoes by spotters. I have seen now at 3:10 to 3:15, there was a confirmed tornado reported in Fox Lake in Dodge County. That is the only one I'm hearing right now. I will ask if you are seeing anything, and I'm not going to, if you see rotation, things like that, I recognize, well, first of all, if you're a trained spotter, please do text me at 414-799-1130 on the adventknows.com talk and text line, or 1-800-838-9476. But if you are seeing bad storm damage, now please, I feel like I do need to issue this caveat. Do not put yourself in danger to take pictures or videos, but you can always send those over to dod@iheartmedia.com. We just want to make sure that as many of our listeners are as safe as possible throughout these storms. And we will get back into the reporting today. I am not reporting, and I need to reiterate this, I am not reporting that Governor Evers is going to decide or going to announce his decision that he is not going to seek a third term, just that both Democrats and Republicans, and I'm talking very connected people that are about as connected as it gets, are saying they expect him very, very soon, as in within the next 24 hours, possibly 36 hours, tomorrow or Friday, to make his announcement. Then they all expect, every single one of them expects that Evers is going to announce that he's not running for a third term as Wisconsin governor, as he is not raising the kind of money that he did ahead of his second, or his first re-election bid, his second election in 2021. He raised just $757,000 in the first 6 months. Now, by way of comparison, Bill Berrien, who was on our show last week, the day that he announced, said to Matt Smith over at Upfront that he is expecting to raise $1 million by the end of this week. Here's the sound.
Can I share how much you've raised in this first week since officially launching?
No, I think we're just shy of $1 million. So yeah, 1 week. Well, it projected to be. It's looking like that.
Yeah. That seems pretty good. Yeah. Where's that coming from in terms of who's supporting Bill Berrien at this point in the race?
It's relationships that I've sort of historically had going back. It's friends and donors in the state. I've been active on Republican donations and fundraising. Going back since we first came here, 23 years ago, and just trying to always contribute in. So that's where I sort of say we'll end up, at the week mark. We're not there yet. Yeah.
Evers, or rather Berrien, did announce that he is spending $400,000 in television and radio advertisements. You've probably heard his ads already on this radio show. He made a substantial buy on News Talk 1130 WISN. I am not quite as sure. I believe he also bought WIBA, but I am not entirely sure of that. He is making a full court press. In contrast, his opponent in this Republican primary, Josh Schoemann, reported raising just $400,000 over the first 6 months of this year. Now, it should be noted that Bill Berrien is independently wealthy and is expected to pump a good deal of money of his own into this race. It's not known just yet how much of the money that he's saying he raised was his own money. You are, of course, allowed to give to yourself. You're allowed to essentially give unlimited amounts of money to your own campaign. That's why the last couple of candidates that Republicans put up, they were very attractive in that regard. Tim Michels and Eric Hovde, that the Republican state and national parties didn't need to assist them with massive amounts of fundraising, that they were able to self-fund. Well, Hovde put a substantial amount of money in. Michels didn't quite put in as much as it was originally believed that he was going to. Both men came up short. Berrien has pretty much the same basic background as the two of them. Producer Eric, yes. Oh, okay. I thought you had a new warning for me. I'll tell you what. We're going to take a break. We will be back. We'll get you a full rundown on the severe weather and the latest on the state of play in Wisconsin.
People should be judged for the content of their character, not the straightness of their teeth.
I'm Mila. The gracious, caring staff at Ross Dental make straight teeth convenient.
Bo, Mila's big brother here. High school social pressure can make students want to be invisible. Ross Dental straight teeth are confidence building.
With Ross Dental straight teeth, you and your children will smile like you just don't care because you don't.
Dr. Ross did imaging and ordered virtually invisible plastic trays that fit over our teeth, shifting them ever so slightly.
Every 5 days or so, we start new trays that shift teeth a little more.
Unlike conventional braces, we can take the trays off to eat and brush our teeth, and they cost less.
A bonus for me is clicking in my jaw stopped.
Dr. Ross is a great dentist, and Dad says Ross Dental is the best deal.
Family dentistry, cosmetic whitening, Ross Dental straight smiles, and full sedation dentistry for anxious patients needing substantial restoration. Our mission, your comfort, health, and confidence. Smile like you just don't care, because you don't. RossDentalWI.com.
Bob from Redefined Realty here. I'd written my own ads for 20 years.
Creative genius. Here. Same. Well, Inet's ads and 100 other businesses' ads.
Writing your own ads, you kind of get stuck repeating the same message. Different words, but the same perspective.
Before introducing Easy Home Bidder, Bob came to Inet to brand his brainchild, MLS Listing Backed by Auction. It's brilliant. MLS guarantees the home is found. Auction guarantees the highest sale price. Period.
Inet branded it, wrote our story, knocked our marketing out of the park. When you think of selling your home, you know MLS and auction together is the right choice.
Redefined also benefits from unparalleled radio buying power, industry influence, and extracurricular enhancement of being part of the Inet community. More than 1,000 businesses working together for each other's successes.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. Inet is improving the economy one business at a time.
InetDishWeb.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Buyers, sellers, real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Imagine your home totally organized. At Closets by Design, we specialize in providing affordable, custom-built storage solutions with built-ins and beyond. From walk-in closets to new laundry rooms and pantries, our experienced designers work within your budget to design a solution fit perfectly to your needs. Get 40% off plus an additional 15% with 18-month financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to get started. Let's get organized together.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD IV Ketamine Therapy Centers. IV ketamine is superior to ketamine lozenges. If you suffer with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, listen to real R&R MD patient feedback.
My treatments helped greatly reduce and eliminate my chronic back pain.
I've tried many therapies for depression, and this has been the most impactful. The environment is relaxing, and the staff are incredibly kind.
Amazing, life-changing, wonderful. Dr. Jennifer changed my life for the better with ketamine infusions.
R&R MD helped me deal with anxiety and be more calm with hectic things going on. Years of talk therapy can't do what this did in a few sessions.
Intravenous ketamine infusions take about an hour at our Brookfield or Mequon R&R MD locations. Relief can continue for weeks, months, even a lifetime. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com. That's rnrmd.com.
There are only a handful of carpet cleaning companies in the country who guarantee results, and we're one of them. It's no wonder why we're Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner.
Edelman Carpet, Furniture, and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again. Edelman.
Are you ready to celebrate the warmer weather? Then check out the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield. Their home-style meals are worthy of any celebration. Just take the Holy Hill exit for 41, turn west, and then turn right on Wolf Road. It's just after the railroad track. It's a great place to share with friends at any time.
With warmer weather arriving, we all know our energy bills will be spiking right along with the temperatures. Your money will be flying out of your home faster than that expensive cold air you paid for. Hi, it's Jay Weber from my friends at Semperfi Roofing with a tip on how to beat the heat. The two main areas that a home loses cool air are from your roof and your windows, and those are the two areas that Semperfi specializes in. They offer a free 21-point roof and window inspection to find out if they're causing your AC unit to work harder, which can double or even triple your energy bills. Yes, it's free, and there will be no high-pressure sales tactics afterward. Usually, an inexpensive repair can fix any problems they may find, but if it's time for a new roof, you can get $500 off of your project, plus no interest and no payment financing until 2027. So set up your free, no-obligation 21-point roof and window inspection today. 262-600-2910. That's 600-2910, or online at semperfiroofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi. Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all. I can't think about my Uncle Chris without thinking about the craziest night of my life. The Uncle Chris podcast tells the story of my Uncle Chris, a real character, a garbage truck driver from South Carolina who is now buried alongside the founding families of Panama. Wild stories about adventure, romance, crime, history, and war intertwine as I share the tall tales and hard truths that have helped me understand Uncle Chris. Listen to Uncle Chris on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Uncle Chris and start listening on the free iHeart Radio app today.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show as heavy storms are now making their way through Beaver Dam, moving northeast towards, I would say, Sheboygan County is probably going to be next, as we do have tornado warnings now until 4 p.m. for Fond du Lac, Columbia, Dodge counties, Columbus, Fall River, Westford, Horicon, Hubbard, Mayville, all areas that are covered under these as this line of storms is moving through. I actually, during the commercial break, walked outside to see things in Greenfield, in the far southwestern corner of Milwaukee County. And let me tell you, friend, the skies are getting mighty dark and the wind is getting mighty cold, blowing cold air from the west, usually indicative of a powerful system moving in. Fortunately, this is going to be moving very quickly, and all of these storms are likely to be over Lake Michigan by about 6 p.m. That means a good portion of today's Dan O'Donnell Show is going to need to be dedicated towards the weather and making sure that we are current in all of the warnings that we broadcast and giving you the most complete, up-to-date information, because our #1 priority is keeping all of our listeners and everyone in our listening area safe. We are also reporting that many people inside the Wisconsin Capitol, both Democrats and Republicans alike, believe that Governor Evers is very close to announcing his decision about whether or not to run for a third term next year. And that decision is very likely to be that he is not going to run again. All of the signs are there. Evers is 73 years old. By the time the next election rolls around next year, he's going to be 74. That is exceptionally old for pretty much every other generation of politics except this one, in this American gerontocracy that we've been in for quite some time. Do you know what they refer to Tony Evers as? Kid. Seriously, compared with the last two presidents we've had, Trump is 78 years old, 79. Biden is 142. Mentally, he's 276 years old. It's true, our politicians have gotten significantly older, but there has been some pressure on Evers coming from the Democratic Party here in Wisconsin to step aside. It started a couple of months ago on Wisconsin Eye. Kelda Helen Roys, Madison area state senator and 2018 Evers opponent and potential 2026 Democratic gubernatorial candidate, was asked flat out while on a panel on a Wisconsin Eye show, do you think Evers should run
Do you
again?
think Governor Evers is in it for a third term?
Yes, I do.
And he should be?
Yes.
What do you think about Governor Evers for a third term?
Well, I think, traditionally 2 terms has been plenty for a lot of Wisconsin governors, but, he's going to decide what he wants to do.
That does not sound like a ringing endorsement of a third Tony Evers run. I think 2 terms is probably enough. To his credit, brand new Democratic Party of Wisconsin Chairman Devin Remaker said all the right things when talking to Matt Smith of Upfront this week.
I mean, do you want the governor to seek re-election as the party chairman?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. No, Governor Evers has done a fantastic job as governor for the state of Wisconsin. He's had a really hard job. I mean, what he has had to deal with, particularly the COVID pandemic, that was just an unprecedented challenge. I think he's been a terrific leader. I pray that he decides to seek re-election. But either way, I know that the Democratic Party of Wisconsin will be in a great position to ensure he's either re-elected or re-elected Democrat in 2026.
It might be much more difficult than Devin Remaker would hope. Brand new Quinnipiac poll out this morning. The Democratic Party has plummeted to a 19% approval rating. 19. That's down there with most venereal diseases. Unfavorable opinion, 72%. 72% of this country has a negative view of the Democrat Party. That is a net approval rating of -53. I told you Governor Evers plus 17 it's very good. Please don't misunderstand. It's very good, but it just is not in the upper tier of popularity for America's governors, according to that Morning Consult poll, which came out today. That poll shows that he is just the 33rd most popular governor, 17th least popular governor in America. Now, polling can only tell you so much. What I think is telling most of the story is fundraising. The fact that he has only raised $700,000 this year, compared with about $5 million in 2021. That isn't indicative, I think, of what it is indicative of is there are a whole lot of donors who don't know if he's actually going to run again. So they don't want to be giving to a candidate who isn't even in the race. In 2021, I believe Evers had very quickly announced that he was going to run for a second term. And it's obvious every governor in his first term runs for a second term, barring very few exceptions. But the fact that Evers has not been out there bringing in tons of money, the fact that he only has $2 million in cash on hand compared with $7 million at the same point in 2021 tells a lot of the story. Just as Rebecca Bradley raised $0, leading to people thinking she's not running again, so too is this setting off alarm bells at the state capitol. Dan O'Donnell Show coming right back in just a second.
From the Lynch GM Superstore in Burlington Total Traffic Center.
Got some hefty delays southbound 4145 from Good Hope down to Burleigh. Northbound delays between Mayfair and Hampton. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Our American Stories.
This is Lee Habib, host of Our American Stories. On our next episode, we'll share the story of the legendary General George Custer and explain what really happened at Little Bighorn. You won't want to miss the next episode of Our American Stories.
Hey, it's Dan, and when it comes to remodeling your home, I know how overwhelming it can feel. That's why I recommend WeatherPro Exteriors, because they make the entire process simple and stress-free from start to finish. It all starts with a free estimate followed by professional installation that's on time, organized, and done right. And when the dust settles, all that's left is peace of mind with their 100% satisfaction guarantee. WeatherPro is family-owned and operated with certified licensed installers and top-notch craftsmanship brought to every project. They back it all up with full inspections, dedicated employee training, and lifetime limited warranties. But don't just take my word for it. They are the #1 top choice for roofing and remodeling for the 6th year in a row. And with a 4.8 star rating on Google, an A on Angie's List, and 5 stars on Home Advisor, it's no wonder they're an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred contractor. Call or schedule your free estimate online right now at weatherproexteriors.com.
Toast to 25 seasons of American Family Field at the Brewers game on Friday, July 25th. Celebrate with a pregame ceremony, a postgame home run derby featuring Prince Fielder and more legends, plus special offers. Get your tickets at brewers.com.
Dan here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management alongside the CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, we're still dealing with uncertainty in the markets. The uncertainty of tax policy has been alleviated by the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill and the signing of it on July 4th. But looking ahead, there's still, Dave, a whole lot of uncertainty when it comes to President Trump's tariffs.
Yeah, there really has. Look where we've been in the last 90 days, shifting the trade responsibility from Navarro to Bessent, and then they cut tariffs from $670 billion down to $270. Reciprocal tariffs were delayed, and on and on. And the market just continues to go down the train tracks, taking it in stride. And so we'll see what happens come August 1st. But the other thing that you did point out, which is absolutely true, is that the big, beautiful bill is passed, and now we're starting to see that people will have more money in their pockets, from a higher standard deduction to enhanced deductions for seniors, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. All of this means that there's some planning opportunities. And we also have a webinar planned for our business owners coming up on Thursday, the 17th. We're going to talk about ideas for tax, estate, and retirement planning. So listen in, and we'll have an opportunity to have that. That's Thursday, the 17th, the One Big Beautiful Bill, what business owners need to know. Register now at events.annexwealth.com.
Whether or not you're on the webinar, and you definitely should be, you need to be planning for your businesses, your families, your loved ones' financial future. That is, after all, why we do all of this, to provide for those we care about. You need to head to annexwealth.com to get a review of your portfolio, to know what you own and why you own it. For Dave Spano, the CEO of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
From the road to the roof, S&K will fix your plumbing problems 24/7.
Saving you money, I'm Hillary Barsky. During the summer months, it's easy to see surging monthly electric bills as you crank up your air conditioner. But there are ways to combat those high costs, according to Consumer Reports, like giving your system a break. Try using ceiling fans or tower fans to help cut costs and use less energy. Most homes can raise the thermostat a bit higher with the use of fans. And also check your weather stripping to make sure your home isn't too drafty. You can also install a smart thermostat. Many people forget to adjust their thermostat, so with a programmable thermostat, you can program and forget. And think about getting an in-window AC unit. If you have one room that gets warm easily, this can be a budget-friendly solution. And if you're installing a new HVAC system, consider getting a maintenance contract. They do typically cost around $150 to $500 a year. However, the additional expense may be worth it in the long run. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the Annex Wealth Management Studios. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Benjamin Yount, weekday mornings 9 to 11 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the number one preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. The effort to recover the body of a 13-year-old teenager from Sheboygan who went missing while swimming in the city's J.C. Quarry Park yesterday continues. Sheboygan Fire Chief Eric Montellano.
He was with a group of friends, and they also tried to assist when he was in the water. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get him to shore, so that's when he went under.
In Racine yesterday, a woman was killed after she was caught in the crossfire of a shootout.
Investigators determined she was an innocent bystander between at least two people shooting at each other. No suspects have been identified. Tad Aylen, Wisconsin Radio Network.
In a top aide, former First Lady Jill Biden appeared for a closed-door deposition before members of Congress about former President Biden's abilities while in office.
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer said they asked former First Lady Jill Biden's Chief of Staff, Anthony Bernal, did any unelected officials or family members execute the duties of the presidency?
Was Joe Biden fit to exercise the duties of the president? He pled the fifth.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Checking the Holiday Automotive Final X Sports Scoreboard. Not a lot. Major League Baseball is currently on its All-Star break. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Strong to severe thunderstorms late this afternoon and early this evening. The storm should wrap up by 7 to 8 o'clock tonight. Temperatures will drop into the 60s overnight. Much cooler on Thursday with highs in the 60s. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Wake up every morning in a pest-free home with Batzner Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service, their year-round preventative pest control program. To learn more and to save $50 off your initial pest service, visit Batzner.com today.
Summer is all about making memories, right? Backyard barbecues, road trips, maybe finally getting around to that hiking trail you've been eyeballing. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. So here's a thought. Call 1-800-4RELIEF and try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made from natural ingredients. Best part? Relief Factor doesn't mask pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's kayaking, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in a hammock, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 1-800-4RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Dan here. Stay cool and stylish this summer with Bayview Shade and Blinds. Since 1926, they've been helping Wisconsin homes shine with custom shades, blinds, drapery, and shutters. Appointments are filling up fast, so call Bayview Shade and Blind today.
When starting a new home project, the first step is the hardest to take. Hi, Colleen here with Tri-County Contracting. And with Tri-County Contracting, the first step is super easy. Go to TriCountyContractingWI.com. You can fill out a short form requesting a free estimate. Amanda will give you a call and schedule a no-pressure appointment with you. Whether it's roofing, siding, windows, or all of the above, we have you covered. If you are looking for an even faster roof price, we also have our instant roof quote button. Name, address, and email address, and you have your price on the spot. Easy first step. Then, all the steps after that, we'll take care of those for you. Getting you an easy-to-read, clear proposal quickly comes next. Then we can help you pick colors using our showroom or project map on our website. We pull the permits, we take care of materials and disposal. Our trained and specialized crews and project managers take care of all the install and cleanup. For you, it's as easy as one step, and that step is easy. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting.
A Generac automatic standby generator that kicks right in when your power goes out is great peace of mind. Get a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from the #1 Generac dealer, Generator Supercenter. Go to GeneratorSupercenterofLakeCountry.com.
Because a great smile goes a long way.
Put a smile on their face at a family place. Elmbrook Family Dental.
Life is unpredictable. Estate planning helps your family face the unknown when you are incapacitated or gone. Do you have a will and power of attorney ready? GrieveCivilLaw.com. Plan today. Have peace of mind tomorrow.
Have you seen our billboards as you're driving around town? Do you wonder what we mean by advisors for real life? At Ellenbecker Investment Group, we make a commitment to our clients, employees, and community to meet you where you are with unmatched personal attention and guide you along your financial journey with honesty, expertise, and an unwavering commitment to your well-being. We're proud to make this commitment to you publicly because we, Ellenbecker Investment Group, really are advisors for real life.
Your home cleaning friend, it's Edelman again. Edelman.
Opinion, emotion, passion. This is News Talk 1130 WISN.
As of right now, the only active tornado warning is in Fond du Lac County, which is going to go until 4:30 p.m. Pretty much the rest of our listening area is under a tornado watch until 6 p.m. But the warnings that were in effect for Dodge County, as well as Columbia, Sauk, Dane, all of the rest of the warnings have been allowed to expire at 4 o'clock. Those were not extended. And it does look as though the storm system might be dissipating quite a bit already, though. We are seeing video footage of a tornado that did touch down. I believe that was from Dodge County. I just saw it on the Fox 6 News here on our monitor in the studio. There is extensive damage to trees, down trees. I haven't heard reports of any power lines yet. In Dane County, the video and photos just starting to make their way to social media and on the local news. We will continue to keep you updated on the severe weather as things progress throughout the afternoon here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome back to it. Sizzling summer cash contest time. Chance to win $1,000. Nationwide keyword is green. 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 You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword green. If your entry is picked at random, you win $1,000 instantly.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
Well, a whole lot of winning for the Trump administration.
We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
It is time now for the Daily Trump Date, your look at what was going on at the White House while you were at work today. Just in the last couple of minutes, President Trump says Coca-Cola has agreed to use real cane sugar in all of its drinks sold in the United States. Coke uses corn syrup in its American products, but President Trump's health secretary, Bobby Kennedy Jr., has voiced concern about the ingredient's health impacts. In a Truth Social post just a couple of minutes ago, President Trump said, "I have been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all of those in authority at Coca-Cola," the president adding, "and I concur, it just tastes better." Meanwhile, the president this afternoon signed the Halt Fentanyl Act. It is the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act, a piece of legislation aimed to permanently classify fentanyl-related substances as Schedule I drugs under the Controlled Substances Act. It also bumps the penalties for possession of fentanyl, possession with intent to distribute. The president signing the bill Powell at the White House today and got off a pretty darn good line while doing so.
And this is not an auto pen, right? That's for sure. That's great. Thank you very much.
The president, in signing that bill, of course, making reference to the New York Times story from Sunday that President Biden's pardons were pretty much all signed with auto pens. Still unclear just how many the former president knew about. Earlier today in the Oval Office, the president welcomed the president of Bahrain and attempted to put to bed this notion that he was going to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, saying, no, he doesn't have any plans to do so.
No, I'm not talking about that. Fortunately, we get to make a change in the next, 8 months or so. And we'll pick somebody that's good, and we'll pick somebody. I just want a fair job. We want to see lower interest rates. Our country deserves it. We're making a lot of money. We're doing great as a country. We have no inflation, record stock market, record business, record everything. Everything's a record now. We had the worst inflation in history under Biden, and now we have almost no inflation. We've done a great job, and we should have the interest rates cut.
Now, as President Trump said that, his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent confirmed that the formal process to remove Powell as Federal Reserve Chair is underway. In fact, President Trump himself appears to have drafted a letter demanding Powell's resignation. We'll have much more on that coming up in just a second, as this is very likely to be the next big battle that President Trump is likely to face a federal judge over. We'll talk you through exactly how firing a Federal Reserve chairman would work. But the president is right. America does have fundamentally no inflation. The PPI, or Producer Price Index report, came out this morning. Here's CNBC's Rick Santelli.
For the month of June, PPI comes in unchanged. We're expecting up 0.2. Unchanged would be the smallest inflationary wholesale increase since it was minus 0.1 in March of this year. Strip out food and energy, it remains zero. Unchanged, zero. And that would comp towards April when we were minus 0.2, which, by the way, was lowest inflation rate going all the way back to April of 2020.
Now, this follows the Consumer Price Index, which was released yesterday. The expectation was going to be month to month a 0.3% increase in consumer prices. It instead came in slower, 0.2% increase. And the expectation for June's industry production rate was 0.1%. That was the expectation. That came in higher month over month, 0.3% up. In addition, June was the first month in 20 years the federal government ran a budget surplus at $27 billion. The expectation there, a $50 billion budget deficit. Suffice it to say, something is going right. Vice President J.D. Vance said the best part of all of this great economic news is the fact that worker wage rates are, for the first time in a very long time, outpacing inflation.
You know what I'm really excited about? I'm really excited about the fact that for the first time in a very long time, workers' wages are rising faster than inflation. You're able to buy more, you're able to do more, and we're just getting started. For decades in this country, the story was that blue-collar workers in particular, they might get a little pay raise or they might not get any pay raise at all, but it was never enough to keep pace with inflation. No matter how hard you worked, no matter how hard you came to work every single day, no matter how many overtime hours, for example, you put in, you were falling behind. Way too many good Pennsylvania families were falling behind. And under just 6 months of the president's leadership, we've got inflation is coming under control and blue-collar wages are rising faster than they have risen in 60 years. That is a testament to great presidential leadership and the great American people.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your daily Trump date. Some new severe thunderstorm warnings just issued. These are severe thunderstorm, not tornado warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings for Dodge and Fond du Lac counties just issued for the next 15 minutes until 4:30 p.m. Then the storm system is going to move into Jefferson and western Waukesha counties. They are under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:45 p.m. President Trump may or may not be gearing up to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. By that, I mean he is definitely gearing up to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, or at least put enough pressure on Powell that Powell, in his final couple of months in office, remember his term does expire next year. President Trump does get to nominate his replacement. The way this works is the Federal Reserve is supposed to be an independent agency, and it's supposed to be immune to political pressure. Now, Powell sort of ripped the mask off of that facade by cutting interest rates shortly before the presidential election in a rather obvious attempt at boosting Joe Biden, or it turned out Kamala Harris. The incumbent party would have been the one to benefit by lowered interest rates. And then, even as inflation cooled substantially, and it was obvious that President Trump's tariff regime wasn't going to cause prices to spike and inflation wasn't going to be an ongoing concern. It is right by where the Fed has said for years it wanted its target to be, right around 2%, even as high as 3.3, 3.4%. He's refused to do so. The only conclusion I think one can come to is that Powell and his Federal Reserve had no problem playing politics to try to keep Trump from returning to office. But now that it seems Trump has positioned America to have a rip-roaring economy, and the only thing really holding it back is the fact that interest rates are way higher than they should be. We are the only advanced nation not to have cut interest rates after inflation started falling precipitously over the past couple of years. This year, the European Union has seen several cuts. 10, I believe, for some nations. We've had 0. We have the highest interest rate of any civilized nation on earth, any advanced industrialized nation. We have by far the highest rate. Trump thinks that's unconscionable. The Fed, though, is an independent agency. And while the president does nominate the Federal Reserve Chairman, and the Federal Reserve Chairman is confirmed by the Senate, just like any other presidential appointment, he is supposed to be independent of any sort of politics, including from the president. That's why any Federal Reserve Board of Governors member or a chairman, the chairman himself, can only be removed for cause. That is generally taken to mean, and this is under the Federal Reserve Act, and this is generally taken to mean if the Fed chair has some sort of dereliction of duty, if there's some sort of malfeasance in public office. Disagreement about interest rates is not adequate cause to fire the Federal Reserve Chairman. Trump, though, has in recent days, including today in the Oval Office, been banging the table with allegations of wrongdoing related to Powell's commission of a $2.5 billion renovation of the Federal Reserve's headquarters. If you thought that the cost to renovate, do you remember the ridiculous number that the Milwaukee Public Museum put out there, that it was going to cost more than it would take to build a new museum to renovate the current museum? There was not a single person alive who actually believed that. And they only put out that number because they wanted to build a brand new museum. Also, did you see what happened today with the big final beam that they were putting up there? It fell. Fortunately, no one was hurt. There was no serious damage. They just picked it right back up with the crane that it fell off of, and they put it into place. Everybody was signing the final beam, and oh, this is so exciting. I think that's karma, folks, and I think that's some bad juju moving forward with the Wisconsin Museum of Science and DEI, or whatever it is that they're calling it. It's no longer going to be the Milwaukee Public Museum. It is the Wisconsin Center for Wokeness and DEI. No, I just made that one up, but it's every bit as stupid a title. The president has been making the case that the Federal Reserve headquarters capital improvements and repairs are so far over budget that it amounts to a misrepresentation by Powell himself and his Federal Reserve, and that the cost is so excessive that it amounts to malfeasance in office. The Mariner Eccles building, the Fed's main headquarters, had bad HVAC systems, plumbing, electrical, a lot of this stuff. And you'll find this in many government buildings. A lot of the bones of the building dates all the way back to like the 1930s. When you're at the White House, any part of the White House complex, you will be stunned at how old the plumbing is, at how old pretty much everything is. The renovation is also going to remove asbestos, lead, that sort of thing. The Fed has also been renovating a building right next to it that it purchased about 7 or 8 years ago. But the fact that this costs $2.5 billion to renovate a building is rather staggering. And President Trump made reference to that earlier today, saying, no, we're not thinking about firing him. We have no plans to fire him. But boy, oh boy, is that building renovation. That's costing a lot, huh?
No, we're not planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's doing a little renovation for $2.5 billion of the Fed. Building a renovation, and they have a close to $900 million cost overrun. And it's a shame, but the biggest cost overrun is the cost overrun for interest rates, because we should be paying 3 points lower, and we would save $1 trillion a year in interest if that were the case. And all it is the stroke of a pen.
He's not wrong, folks. He's not wrong. We absolutely should have lower interest rates. I'm not just saying that because, I just refinanced a construction loan into a mortgage and could totally refinance and get a really good rate that I was paying before I decided to build a house. I mean, that would be awesome, but it's not like I have any skin in this game. The reality is the real reason, yes, the housing market desperately needs rate cuts, desperately. People aren't moving because they can't afford the higher interest rates. They can't afford to get out of 2.5%, 3% mortgages and into 6.5%, 7% mortgages. The real reason, though, is we can refinance the debt that America has. And if you think a $400,000 mortgage is a lot, imagine 30-some trillion dollars of debt. We're currently paying $1 trillion every single year just on debt service, just on paying interest on the debt. That's more than we pay for national defense. That's a staggering sum of money. And President Trump wants that number to get more under control. What I think he's trying to do is to put extreme pressure on Powell to not have the indignity of being removed from office just months before the end of his term, and to just cut the rates. When we come back, is it possible that 2026 isn't the big year for Democrats that many think it will be? Harry Enton at CNN has some fascinating polling data. We'll get to that when the Dan O'Donnell Show returns.
From the Lynch Chevrolet of Kenosha Total Traffic Center.
Northbound on 4194, the off-ramp to Highway C partially blocked with a stalled vehicle. Stay on the left side of that ramp. Southbound A94, slow most of the way from the zoo down to the Hale interchange. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Is it time for a new job? Then it's time for Express Employment Professionals. Quit the endless online job search. Enlist the pros. Let a local recruiter from one of their 870 locations help. And Express never charges job seekers a fee. Go to ExpressPros.com.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
The 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival is brought to you by Metro. With their new lower prices, the celebration starts way before the festival. Big savings so you can focus on your favorite artist, not your phone bill. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, if you're selling your home and you don't have a real estate agent with a proven system for attracting buyers and marketing budget to back it up, well, it can take a lot longer than you think to get the right offer to sell your home. That's why I only recommend one real estate agent right here in town. I'm talking about Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. Now, he's a sharp real estate agent who knows the market well and gives you the smartest options. Now, his marketing is on a whole different level. He brings you options and marketing that other agents don't offer. Now, for decades, he has helped thousands of families just like yours consistently turn challenging situations into 5-star reviews, get the option that is right for you and the marketing plan that will make it happen. Now, with all the details involved in what is likely your largest investment, don't leave money on the table. Talk to the only agent in town I recommend. Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 5-star reviews.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow famously said, "Into each person's life, some rain must fall." At Ryan Waterproofing, we tend to agree, as long as it's not in your basement. Free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
When you're injured, you want quick, specialized care, not a long ER wait. At Ortho ASAP, our orthopedic care specialists treat fractures, sprains, strains, sports injuries, and more right away. With on-site x-rays and expert care, we get you back on track faster. Open 7 days a week with locations in Brookfield and Pewaukee. It's more affordable than the ER. Walk in, get treated, and get back to life. Ortho ASAP. There is a difference. Visit OrthoWisconsin.com.
It's summertime, and you know what that means. Lots of festivals and celebrations all across southeast Wisconsin. Doesn't matter where you look. Hi, Ken Herrera here for my friends George and Holly at the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield. It's just off Holy Hill at Highway 41. When you visit the Sawmill for the finest in home-style cooking, every day seems like a celebration. From their deliciously prepared appetizers to their homemade ice cream and pies, you just can't miss when you visit the Sawmill. Yeah, I know it's been a rainy spring and summer, but don't let that stop you from enjoying the Sawmill's covered deck area. It's wonderful. It's huge and just the place to enjoy that dessert. To reach the Sawmill, all you have to do is exit Holy Hill from Highway 41, turn west, and the first right over the railroad tracks is Wolf Road. You turn right there, and the Sawmill is just around the curve on your left. Feel like celebrating? Then the Sawmill is the place to go for what one customer calls the iconic restaurant in Richfield. Check them out today. You won't be disappointed. That's the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield.
Save big money on your next staining project right now at Menards. Pittsburgh's ultra-advanced semi-transparent exterior stain and sealant in one can be applied on damp wood, allowing you to clean the surface and stain in one day. Save big on ultra-advanced exterior stain and sealant. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules. Make News Talk 1130 WISN your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
The talk shows on WISN Radio, not for the faint of heart and not for the feeble of mind. News Talk 1130 WISN. Fact is, until you've heard us, you haven't heard the whole story. News Talk 1130, WISN Milwaukee.
Fitting that this bumper song is called Little Secrets by Passion Pit. The secret in Madison appears to be out of the bag. Not totally. I am not reporting that Governor Evers is not going to seek a third term. I need to keep reiterating that. I have just been talking to a whole lot of insiders, both Democrats and Republicans, and all of them say the same thing, that Evers is almost certain to make his decision public tomorrow or Friday, and that most of them believe that that decision is he is not going to seek a third term. He would be the first Democrat, if he would win the 2026 election, to win a third term. There has been tremendous pressure on Evers not to run again. Behind the scenes, I am told that Democrats are terrified that there would be a, quote, Joe Biden situation. And this was sort of vocalized in the Recombobulation Area blog by Dan Schaefer, who is very well read in Wisconsin Democrat circles and makes a pretty compelling case that Evers, at 73 years old, although, as I understand it, not senile, which means he has a big leg up over the former president, he would be seen as something of a liability in a year in which Democrats are expected to do very, very well. Typically here in Wisconsin, the governor's race goes to whichever party does not control the White House. It is a long-standing pattern. Evers, of course, broke that when he won re-election in 2022. Joe Biden was in the White House. He won a second term. This year, though, I think the long knives are sort of out for the governor because there are a whole lot of Democrats who are jostling for position. I have been told for a long time now that Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley has been quietly positioning himself for a run. Josh Kaul, the Attorney General, desperately wants to run, but the dirty little secret in Madison is that no Democrats like Josh Kaul. For whatever reason, I think his staff, his inner circle rubs people the wrong way. I believe he personally rubs people the wrong way. I think his status as Wisconsin's top cop in a party that, quite frankly, despises law enforcement of all shapes and sizes. Kaul's shape and size, of course, would be round. They just don't like him. Sarah Rodriguez, the lieutenant governor, is, I guess, positioning herself for a run. She has been about as nondescript in her time in office as any lieutenant governor, certainly keeping a much lower profile than her predecessor, Mandeadbeat Barnes. He apparently has no interest in running for governor after losing in the Senate race in 2022. But the big names that I have heard that are likely to get in this race if Evers doesn't would be Crowley, Rodriguez, possibly Kelda Helen Roys, possibly Greta Neubauer, the leader of the Democrats in the state assembly, possibly Kaul. Did I say Kaul? Kaul, Crowley, Rodriguez, and then the big wild card, the former Democratic Party of Wisconsin chairman, Ben Wickler, who has proven to be very adept at raising money for the party, but would he be the sort of top of the ticket draw that the Democratic Party would need? Does he have that charisma? I always joke that he looks like a man who just belched, and as effective as he is behind the scenes, does he have that level of personal likability and charisma? I mean, let's face it, Evers did not. But in contrast to Scott Walker, he was sort of seen, he was the Joe Biden figure. I always say Wisconsin is the political canary in the coal mine. Uncle Tony was sort of the predecessor for Joe Biden. Just run a bland, neutral. As my friend Jay Weber always says, he's a gray man in a gray suit. That perfectly describes Tony Evers. And he's sort of able to mask his radicalism by the fact that, well, he's just this kindly looking old man who plays pickleball and goes to bed by about 5:15 p.m. It has been sort of common knowledge that Democrats would have a much easier path to winning the governor's mansion in 2026 without an incumbent than even defeating a popular incumbent in 2018 in Scott Walker because of this pattern. Because Trump controls the White House, the thinking is that Democrats are more motivated to vote and that they're going to just win everything there is to win this year. That might not necessarily be true. This morning on CNN, Harry Enton, the network's polling guru, said when you look at the generic ballot now compared to the last two big Democrat wave elections in 2018 and 2006, when you compare this exact same point, the July before the election year, the generic ballot does not look anywhere near as good for Democrats.
Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. What are we talking about here? All right, the Democrats versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot, the margins. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, and now they're only ahead by 2 points. Their lead is less than half of where it was in either 2017 or 2005 in July of those years, the year before the midterm election. Yes, Donald Trump may be unpopular, but Democrats have not come anywhere close to sealing the deal at this particular point.
And the biggest reason for that is the Democratic brand is just toxic right now. Last hour, we pointed to the Quinnipiac poll out today showing just 17% of Americans support the Democratic Party or have a favorable impression of the Democratic Party compared with 72% who do not. That is absolutely stunning. Now, as Enton pointed out, though, these elections aren't won or lost on generic ballots. You have to take a look at individual congressional races. And again, these are congressional races across the country. Wisconsin, as I have reiterated over and over and over again, has become far bluer than it has in years past because of the dramatic ascendancy of Dane County and the erosion of Republican votes in the WOW counties and the BOW counties that boosted the Scott Walker coalition. I maintain that the biggest reason for that is a whole lot of Scott Walker's voters have reached retirement age and either have moved to Florida full time or are snowbirds, but have Florida or Texas or Arizona residency, particularly with Texas and Florida, because they don't have to pay state income taxes. In the congressional races, though, shockingly, unlike 2006 and 2018, Enton says the Republicans have a better chance of picking up seats.
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with the GOP president, like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report, when you add in the likelies, the leans, and the toss-up races. So it's not just on the generic ballot where Democrats are behind their 2017 and 2005 pace. It's actually when it comes seat by seat, you see that at least at this particular point, Republicans actually have more net pickup opportunities. This doesn't look anything like those wave elections back in 2006 or 2018.
Now, this is way far out. We are almost 18 months away from the November 2026 election. It's way too early to be looking at polls or anything like that. But I'm just trying to give you a sense of what the mood of the country is right now. Now, last night on CNN, on Anderson Cooper's show, Rahm Emanuel, the longtime Obama acolyte, former mayor of Chicago, very astute political guy. Remember, he was the one who said, never let a good crisis go to waste. The mantra Democrats have sort of lived by for the last 50 plus years. He said, Democrat voters, the base, the crazies, they are hyper motivated to vote. Ultimately, that's what matters. Which side would crawl through broken glass to vote for their party or to vote against the party that they despise? And if there's one thing we know about Democrats, it's that they're really good at despising Republicans. Here's Ron.
If you look at every special election and every primary, Democratic turnout since 2024 is way up on a comparative basis. And it's very, very, Democratic voters are very energized, and they're not waiting for the leadership to get their act together about how to confront both President Trump and and do nothing, or not do nothing, but the rubber stamp Republican Congress. So I get all the frustration everybody has, but you look at where the Democratic voters are in the country, they are fully caffeinated, double espresso. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Take a look at the New Jersey primary vote. 2.5 to 1 Democrats turned out.
They're fully caffeinated with a double espresso. If by fully caffeinated, you mean so unhinged and hateful that an Axios article last week had dozens of House Democrats freaked out because their constituents were coming up to them at town hall meetings and saying, you need to be willing to get shot during an ICE demonstration. We need blood. Democrats are, in large part, unhinged. But when you're unhinged, when you're angry, so angry that you're motivated to do anything it takes to get what you want, you have a tendency to win elections. Just look at how many Democrats turned out to defeat Elon Musk in the state Supreme Court race. Yes, I said Elon Musk and not Brad Schimmel because Democrats didn't run against Brad Schimmel. They ran against the guy they hated, Elon Musk, and it worked. Susan Crawford won by 10 points. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth that is coming right back in just a couple of minutes.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Eastbound on 94 got delays starting at 84th, clearing up east of 35th Street. Your westbound delays start at the Marquette and clear up before Hawley. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Terminix Batzner. Wake up every morning in a pest-free home with Batzner Pest Control's Pest-Free 365 service. Their year-round preventative pest control program. To learn more and to save $50 off your initial pest service, visit Batzner.com today.
For many of us, the most important part of our routine between 6 and 9 weekday mornings is to listen to every minute of the Jay Weber Show on WISN. Sadly, sometimes less important elements of our lives get in the way, such as work, children, and bathing. Don't despair. The Jay Weber Show podcast is available 24/7 to fill any gaps in your hunger for entertainment. Just go to newstalk1130.com, click the podcast tab, and enjoy Jay Weber on demand.
I'm Total Health's Jay Johnson, the Falls and New Berlin. Seed oils, the number one source of calories in American diets, developed as engine fuel in industrial lubricants, only ended up in the food supply for profit. Seed oils cause arthritis, heart disease, metabolic syndrome, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, and chronic illness. Medical doctors prescribe dozens of pharmaceuticals for life to treat symptoms of those diseases. Why don't they tell you to stop consuming poison? I'll tell you why. You you sick is profitable. At Total Health, we teach eliminating seed oils from your diet improves true health and how you feel. Total Health finds the root cause of your fatigue, weight gain, brain fog, sleeplessness, then works with you, the whole you, eliminating symptoms and the chronic disease causing those symptoms. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution is true. Total Health's holistic practitioners utilize proven science to help you feel and truly be the most helpful and well you. Total Health.
The National Weather Service in Milwaukee-Sullivan has issued a flash flood warning for central Fond du Lac County and east central Wisconsin until 7:45 p.m. At 4:36 p.m., Doppler radar and automated rain gauges indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 1 and 2 inches of rain have fallen. The expected rainfall rate is 1 to 2 inches in 1 hour. Additional rainfall amounts of 0.5 to 1.5 inches are possible in the warned area. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. Hazard: flash flooding caused by thunderstorms. Source: radar and automated gauges. Impact: flash flooding of small creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses, as well as other poor drainage and low-lying areas. Some locations that will experience flash flooding include Fond du Lac, North Fond du Lac, Oakfield, Rosendale, Brandon, Southern Lake Winnebago, Taycheedah, Lamartine, El Dorado, Eden, Van Dyne, Peebles, Lagoda, West Rosendale, Pipe, Johnsburg, and Town of Forest. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles. Be aware of your surroundings and do not drive on flooded roads.
By Roofing with a tip on how to beat the heat. The two main areas that a home loses cool air are from your roof and your windows, and those are the two areas that Semperfi specializes in. They offer a free 21-point roof and window inspection to find out if they're causing your AC unit to work harder, which can double or even triple your energy bills. Yes, it's free, and there will be no high-pressure sales tactics afterward. Usually, an inexpensive repair can fix any problems they may find, but if it's time for a new roof, you can get $500 off of your project, plus no interest and no payment financing until 2027. So set up your free, no-obligation 21-point roof and window inspection today. 262-600-2910. That's 600-2910. Or online at SemperfiRoofing.com.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semperfi.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while sending bank details.
I need a coffee.
And you need LifeLock because your info is in endless places. It only takes one mistake to expose you to identity theft. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
I can't think about my Uncle Chris without thinking about the craziest night of my life. The Uncle Chris podcast tells the story of my Uncle Chris, a real character, a garbage truck driver from South Carolina who is now buried alongside the founding families of Panama. Wild stories about adventure, romance, crime, history, and war intertwine as I share the tall tales and hard truths that have helped me understand Uncle Chris. Listen to Uncle Chris on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Uncle Chris and start listening on the free iHeart Radio app today.
Okay. Can someone please explain to me why I should care about that guy's Uncle Chris? So he's buried by the governor of some city in Panama? I felt like I kind of hear half of the promo. If you were listening to us on News Talk 1130 WISN's over-the-air radio broadcast, you would have heard one of the innumerable iHeartRadio podcast advertisements for My Uncle Chris. And I would hear for the past couple of days, I guess this thing has been running, second here or there. And I'm thinking, okay, it's sort of like the podcast that the Journal Sentinel reporter, was it Mary Spacuzza, who did a podcast. And I listened to about half of the first episode. It was very interesting. I don't really get into podcasts all that much. As you can imagine, I have a pretty single-minded focus on golf. No, on this show, on preparing for this show. And she did a great job. It was like her grandfather or her great uncle or somebody was in the mafia. And that's okay. That's inherently interesting. This is a podcast about some dude's uncle. Oh, is he a character? I have an interesting uncle named Steve. Should I do a podcast about Uncle Steve? A lot of you folks know him. He was the one who actually accurately called exactly which states Trump was going to win. And he was adamant. He wasn't just Johnny come lately. He was saying Trump was going to win every single swing state. The guy is hilarious, although I'm fairly certain he is currently transing his cat, Peaches. Yes. The cat shows up at their property. They live way out in Random Lake, he and his wife Sharon. And this little cat named Peaches wanders up, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, something like that. And they took in Peaches like a good mom and dad do. But Peaches, who they presume to be a girl cat and were treating as a girl cat, when they finally brought Peaches to the veterinarian, maybe a week after they got her, realized Peaches was a boy. So they apparently are still referring to Peaches as a girl cat. So I'm like, Steve, you are transing that cat. Like, are you putting the cat on puberty blockers? Is Peaches going to have one of those weird voices where, it's where they're like not allowed to go through puberty and they sort of talk like this? He's transing his cat. Now, could I do an entire podcast about my Uncle Steve and his transgender cat? I'll tell you what, it would probably be a damn sight more entertaining than my Uncle Chris, who's buried next to some weird Cuban dictator. I don't even know. He's like, oh, he's buried with the Norwegian royal family. Okay, great. What do I got? Unless he murdered one of them, why the hell do I care about your Uncle Chris? That's what we should do. I'm going to talk to Belling like every day for the Mark Belling podcast. He should just have like some ridiculous concept for his podcast, like some of the stupid crap that we advertise on this radio show. Now, some is very interesting. The podcast that we did on finding Matt Drudge, trying to figure out what the hell went on with the Drudge Report. I honestly will go on that site. I used to go to the Drudge Report 5 times a day, bare minimum, to get show content, just to see what was going on. Now I go on there maybe once a week, maybe. And it was a great podcast. Okay, what happened to Matt Drudge? That's fascinating stuff. But some of it is just like, and you go like my Facebook feed when it's not golf tips. Apparently Facebook knows I am a horrible golfer. So all the algorithm is showing me is golf tips, golf memes, and that's pretty much it. What's wild, do you know how I know the algorithm is completely politically biased? I'm rather obviously a pretty outspoken conservative. I've got my phone in my pocket or sitting on the table when I do a 3-hour radio show where I talk about conservative stuff. Would you believe I don't get any conservative content in like my For You reels or anything like that. X is different. It's all conservative content all the time. Facebook, it's golf and just random stupid stuff. But I'll sometimes get these random pocket where it's just a bunch of dudes just kind of talking about like, hey man, got a burger with fries today. Oh no, you didn't. You got the burger and the fries, bro. That's incredible. I'm like, how do people listen to this? How do you honestly? I think I missed my calling. Instead of conservative thought, not just talk, I should just do stupid bleep for 60 minutes at a crack, and you will sit here and listen to it. I am going to do 60 minutes about, like, what do these guys talk about? It's utterly insane. Is this what 20-somethings are listening to now? Well, Rogan, yeah, I know they're listening to Rogan. Rogan has fascinating guests on and scintillating conversation. There's no real secret as to why Joe Rogan is successful. He's very, very good at what he does. I'm talking these video podcasts where it's just a bunch of bros. Usually it's like some C-list celebrity, and they just talk about stupid stuff, sort of like I did for the last 5 minutes. And now we've got to go to break. All right, we've got to go to the last right. You know what? Why don't we just take this right up to the top of the hour? Should we just back time this? I'm talking to my producer now. All right, you got to head out in 30 seconds. All right. Oh, I have to be out by 30 seconds. All right. 30 more seconds on my uncle's transgender cat, Peaches. We will have a full 60-minute episode on that. Also, he texted me today. He wants to sleep over for some reason because he's got to drive. I got a frantic text. Dan, I need you. You know what? Now that I think about it, My Uncle Steve would be a hilarious podcast. Listen to it on iHeartRadio soon, or, as they say, wherever you listen to podcasts.
From the place you want to go, Lynch McGuanago Traffic Center.
Got a stalled vehicle partially blocking the ramp from College to 4194 northbound. Stay on the right side of that ramp to get by. 4394 southbound going to be heavy from the Marquette down to the KK River. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by First Choice Heating and Cooling.
This heat is unbearable.
Keep your family comfortable with First Choice Heating. For a limited time, get $89 off your AC and heating tune-up. Milwaukee's trusted HVAC company, firstchoiceheating.com.
Bob built a brand over the same 20 years INET has. I bought multiple properties over those years. Bob gets real estate like I never will.
In real estate, every brokerage does the same thing. MLS. Adding auction bidding to MLS, I knew if INET branded it, told our story, home sellers would understand and accept this real estate revolutionizing platform.
You can be the best in your industry like Redefine Realty is. Even revolutionize your industry like Redefine Realty has with auction. Yet, it's your story that sells.
You can't tell your story as well as INET Creative Genius will tell your story.
Real estate for winners is exactly what Redefine Realty and auction has always been.
Steven knocked our brand and marketing out of the park.
Selling a home? If you don't use Redefine's MLS and auction platform, you'll leave closing with less money than you would have. Tragic and that simple.
Websites, branding, design, video, and radio. INET is improving marketing for winners.
INETJustWork.com.
CreativeGeniusMarketing.com.
Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
You've got apps for everything. Music, photos, even ordering coffee. But only one app gives you the live radio experience. It's radio your way. Anytime, anywhere. Join the millions already listening. The free iHeartRadio app. The #1 app for radio.
I'm Dan Voss from Cut and Go. Ugly and depressing and trees killed off by emerald ash, oak wilt, and Dutch elm disease are dangerous for friends and loved ones, even a potential liability. Slowly rotting, left standing hardwood trees can weigh tens of thousands of pounds. Even seemingly smaller branches can weigh tens, even hundreds of pounds. With Cut and Go, there is no reason to risk injury or property damage. Live trees in precarious placement for an arborist to remove over homes, garages, commercial buildings, luxury landscapes are easily and safely laid on the ground by Cut and Go's NCCER crane-operated certified remote control automobile mounted articulating crane grapple saw operators. You can save big money and stock up on firewood by having Cut and Go put your trees on the ground for you to clean up or have a bonfire or split firewood, or we can take it all with us when we leave. A Tons of Trees movement. Cut and Go Trees.com. That's CUTNGO Trees.com. Once again, that's cutandgotrees.com.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs, even mold and bacteria in your home. MudTech
262-337-0934.
Call MudTech for a free estimate today.
Restoring your home or business to its natural beauty is our only business. We are Wisconsin's most trusted carpet cleaner for over 75 years.
Edelman Carpet Furniture and Drapery Cleaning.
It's Edelman again.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. Recently, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
From the road to the roof, S&K will fix your plumbing problems 24/7.
There's only one store that gives you every possible choice in diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Whenever news happens,
get coverage that's factual,
fair, and balanced. News Talk 1130 WISN. All programs on News Talk 1130 WISN are broadcast through the NX Wealth Management Studios. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference. Listen to Clay and Buck weekdays 11 to 2 on News Talk 1130 WISN Milwaukee. And make WISN the #1 preset on your car radio and on the new iHeart app. Free never sounded so good.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Michaels. Dive teams in Sheboygan have recovered the body of a 13-year-old boy who went under the water yesterday afternoon.
Sheboygan Fire Chief Eric Montanello says the search at J.C. Corey Park was a challenge.
There's a lot of debris, a lot of obstacles. Our divers last night were getting entangled. This morning they were getting entangled. You always want to have closure. We want to do the best for the family. You want to do it safely.
Officials say the water is 30 to 50 feet deep in parts of the lake. The name of the victim has not been released. Raymond Newport, Wisconsin Radio Network.
And tonight's Milwaukee Night Market in downtown has been canceled.
The market was scheduled to start at 5 o'clock this evening on Wisconsin Avenue downtown. But the West Town Association, who is responsible for organizing this, is calling it off because of the potential for severe weather.
Checking the Holiday Automotive of Fond du Lac Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers are off until Friday night when they open up a series against the Dodgers in L.A. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Dave Michaels on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Strong to severe thunderstorms late this afternoon and early this evening. The storm should wrap up by 7 to 8 o'clock tonight. Temperatures will drop into the 60s overnight. Much cooler on Thursday with highs in the 60s. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Running a business is hard enough, and then Congress comes along with a law that could change your plan. I'm Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management, inviting you to an online webinar, The One Big Beautiful Bill, What Business Owners Need to Know. July 17th. Whether you're planning on selling, expanding, or just getting started, this is for you. That's Thursday, July 17th, The One Big Beautiful Bill, What Business Owners Need to Know. Register now at events.annexwealth.com.
I'm Kelly Lammert at Clean Living Environments. Exhausted today because last night was sweaty and sleepless? Kids upstairs can't sleep unless your bedroom is freezing and you're overwhelmed by stifling humid heat just a few steps up the stairs? Clean Living Environment Clean Ducts allow allow more cool air to make it through your vents to the farthest room from the furnace and every room in between. Clean Living Environments Aeroseal Duct Sealing allows your furnace and ducts to deliver cool, refreshing air as your HVAC system was designed. The engineer didn't account for loosely fitted pipes snaking from the furnace through walls to vents or loosely boxed off stud spaces and right angle returns forcing air out of ducts. Literally tonnage of cool air escaping into the basement, walls, and attic before reaching intended rooms. Dank basement air sucked into gaps and distributed throughout the house results in dust, musty smells, less cooled air to parts of the house, and larger energy bills. Upgrading summer is cool. Get more out of your ducts. CleanLivingEnvironments.com. That's cleanlivingenvironments.com.
An auction to sell your house? And it includes a 2.99% full service MLS listing? Come on. Put simply, the absolute best way to sell your home is a Redefined Realty MLS listing enhanced by the EasyHomeBidder.com auction bidding platform. You get max profits and minimal contingencies. Buyers and sellers both love winning at auction. Traditional real estate agents put houses on MLS, then talk sellers into accepting offers. It's always been done that way. While buyers can still make a traditional offer, auctions powered by EasyHomeBidder.com allow every interested party to compete for your home through MLS and at auction on your terms. Sellers never lose a penny again. Dorothy's Ruby slippers would not have sold for $28 million without an auction. Similarly, the maximum price of your home will only be achieved at auction. Traditional real estate agents sell ordinary MLS services. Redefine's Mentors of Winning enhance the home selling process combining auction and MLS. RedefinedRealty.com. Buyers win, sellers win. Real estate's future is now. Real estate for winners. RedefinedRealty.com.
Divergent Family Law offers free consultations for divorce and flat rate quotes so you can make informed decisions about your next steps. Our experienced attorneys are committed to helping you understand your rights and options. Your fair share or better, divergentfamilylaw.com.
Are you tired of being tired? Go to adventknows.com.
WISN. Big taxers, big spenders, political cronies, global warming alarmists, charlatans, liars, scam artists, and feeders at the public trough. The threats to your happiness are many, but that's where we can help. News Talk 1130 WISN. Our truth shall keep you free.
Kowal Investment Group, now Creative Planning, is a registered investment advisor. Now for your business report from Creative Planning. For informational purposes only, past performance is not indicative of future results.
Good afternoon. I'm Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor Joe Still with your closing business report. Stocks finished higher today in a volatile session as a White House official indicated this morning that President Trump was getting closer to firing Fed Chair Jerome Powell, which sent markets lower. However, President Trump later denied the report and the markets rebounded. Meanwhile, the Producer Price Index, a measure of wholesale costs, showed no change in June, when economists expected a 0.2% increase. Combined with yesterday's Consumer Price Index release, the data suggests that President Trump's tariffs are indicating only a minimal effect on the U.S. economy. On the day, the Dow was up 231 to 44,254. The S&P 500 rose 19, and the NASDAQ was higher by 52 points. From Creative Planning, I'm Joe Still.
The Wednesday edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show starts now. Some good news on the storm front. It does look like the storms have largely broken up, and it's very likely the Milwaukee area is not going to get much, if anything, in the way of thunderstorms or rain or any of it. So good news, hopefully, that there were some severe thunderstorms that made their way through Dane County, all the way through Columbia, Sauk into Dodge County. There was some what looked to be significant tree damage. Hopefully everyone is okay. But it looks for now, though, that the severe weather threat has largely ended. We did get a response to our reporting from Governor Evers' spokesperson, Britt Cuddeback. I posted my reporting that multiple people, Democrats and Republicans, are saying that they believe that within the next 24 to 36 hours, Governor Evers is going to make an announcement about his political future, and that announcement is going to be that he's not running for a third term. Cuddeback reposted my tweet and said, setting an alarm for 36 hours from now so I can pop back online to tell the insider blogs to get better sources. Again. Well, I responded, hey, Britt, since you're finally getting around to responding to me, can I get a comment about your career completely stalling until you started working for your girlfriend, at which time you suddenly got a massive promotion in direct violation of every HR regulation ever? Seriously, I wrote that. I don't think she's going to respond to that. No, I'm still honked off from 2 years ago. I sent multiple emails. I tweeted her. She sent like a 1,300-word novel to Dan Bice demanding that Bice not report on her relationship with Wisconsin's real governor, Maggie Gao. She reports directly to Maggie Gao, and she's going out with her. They're dating. They live together. They're in a committed lesbian relationship. Could you imagine if the only reason that I got promoted to the afternoon show is because I was sleeping with Jerry Bott? First of all, gross. Second of all, it would be a major violation of our company's HR regulations. She didn't get a single promotion ever. And then all of a sudden, then Governor Evers pretends that people have relationships. He managed to pretend that this wasn't a huge scandal, that every norm of intra-office relationships and behavior was being violated by his closest advisors. And of course, the rest of the media in this state just sort of dropped it because it's not really a scandal. Jeez. We should do, when Evers finally does make an announcement one way or another, we need to do, I think, honestly, I think they're still ticked off at me for making Tony Evers an international embarrassment. I was the one who broke the story that he referred to women, pregnant women, mothers as inseminated persons. They're all furious with me about that. Way back, what was that, February, March? In his budget. Yeah, it would have been February. He calls mothers inseminated persons. Sadly, this was the biggest thing that anyone was able to get to stick to Teflon Tony. Basically, he was calling for riots after Jacob Blake was shot. Remember the rapist who was trying to kidnap his kids? And a police officer successfully stopped an armed kidnapping by shooting Blake, who was armed with a curved blade knife as he was attempting to drive off with his children in the back of the van. And of course, the social justice crowd burned Kenosha to the ground. Well, Evers, probably Britt Cuddeback, puts out a press release at exactly 10 p.m., the exact moment where social media postings were telling people to show up and, quote, they didn't say burn it down, but it was something that made it clear that the people in Kenosha were going to cause a chaos. He puts out a press release basically saying this is not the first black man who has been shot or killed by law enforcement. He never put out a press release after about 4:30 p.m., and he is not in the 5 years since. It was despicable behavior by the governors. And then he refused to send in the National Guard. Just let Kenosha burn for a couple of days. He didn't pay for it politically. What about, do you remember the wiretapping of his office to try to get Robin Vos and Scott Fitzgerald, then the leader of the state Senate, to say something offensive. Sure enough, they leak it right to Molly Beck over at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and then the reporter whose name I forget, who left for the Washington Post. He's one of their political reporters. Not Craig, what's his name? The other one. No, not Gilbert. Whoever, whatever. They literally... It was like Woodward and Bernstein were working with Richard Nixon to sort of get the secret tapes out there to embarrass the people on the enemies list. Once again, that's Gow. That's Britt Cuddeback. Man, am I going to celebrate if and when this guy is exiting stage left. But what's been remarkable about Evers' political career, and I think it's a huge testament to just how sycophantic the media is in this state in reporting on Democrats. Do you realize we now have one congressman stalking another on social media? Mark Pocan is in full on, I'm worried he's going to boil Derek Van Orden's pet rabbit territory. It has been nonstop. I'm going to count up the number of times Mark Pocan has tweeted at Derek Van Orden. It is beyond psychotic. It's like he said, I'm not going to be ignored, Derek. Nobody's reporting on that. Pocan, in as much as he ever had a mind, has lost it within the last couple of, and he's demanding that Van Orden debate him over the one big beautiful bill. And he said, and I quote, I will debate you anytime, anywhere. So I butted in and said, hey, Congressman, I will gladly host both of you on my radio show, which airs pretty much across the state and is about the most listened to that there is. Silence, crickets. Of course, Pocan doesn't want to debate anywhere. He just wants to stalk. He is, honest to goodness, turning into a stalker right before our eyes. Nobody is reporting on it. Evers has been the beneficiary of such insanely biased coverage. You can't even call it biased coverage anymore. He has been the beneficiary of propagandist coverage, so that the only thing that is really stuck to him, and even the inseminated persons flap, didn't stick to him through local or state news coverage. In fact, the rest of the media here didn't even report on it. It went viral through social media. Elon Musk picked up the tweet, and from there it went into the stratosphere. But Evers is sort of uniquely positioned because of that to run for and win a third term, because there just really isn't anything to hang him with, politically speaking, because he's always had a Republican legislature, which has been the goalie saving all of his liberal insanity. You might remember the last budget, when Evers took credit for the Republican tax cuts that he was threatening to veto it. And he was asked, how can you take credit for this budget and all of the tax cuts when you were threatening to veto it? He said with a straight face, well, I didn't veto it. I could have vetoed it. Okay. Make no mistake, that old coot is going to be difficult to beat if he runs again. It's the political reality. It is the political reality that we are now beholden to the crazies in Madison in this state, the likes of whom you are about to hear in a rather charming New York Times opinion piece entitled, Is it time to stop snubbing your right-wing family? We'll get to that in just 1 second. First, it is the Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest. Word this hour is bonus, BONUS bonus. You've got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword bonus to enter the contest for this hour. If your entry is picked at random, you will win a nice little bonus of $1,000, courtesy of your friends at iHeart. media. David Litt was a speechwriter for Barack Obama. He's sort of like the final boss of bougie libs. Like, if there is an effete bougie lib you have to defeat in order to capture the castle to save the princess, you have to defeat all of the other effete, bougie East Coast libs. And then you have to face David Litt, who is the final boss of effete, bougie East Coast libs. He writes a story that is unintentionally hysterical about he had no choice. It was his civic duty to stop talking to his brother-in-law in 2020. Here's David Litt. Not too long ago, I felt a civic duty to be rude to my wife's younger brother. I met Matt Kapler in 2012, and it was immediately clear we had nothing in common. He lifted weights to death metal. I jogged to Sondheim. I was one of President Barack Obama's speechwriters and had an Ivy League degree. I was wondering when that was going to come out. Ivy League, how quick does it take for an Obama speechwriter? Remember, the final boss of effete, bougie East Coast libs. It was sentence number 3 of his story to tell people that he has an Ivy League degree. I had an Ivy League degree. He was a huge Joe Rogan fan and went on to get his electrician's license. My early memories of Matt are hazy. I was mostly trying to impress his parents. Still, we got along, chatting amiably on holidays and at family events. Then the pandemic hit, and our preferences began to feel like more than differences in taste. We were on opposite sides of a cultural civil war. The deepest divide was vaccination. I wasn't shocked when Matt didn't get the COVID shot, but I was baffled. Turning down a vaccine during a pandemic seemed like a rejection of science and self-preservation. It felt like he was tearing up the societal contract that, until that point, I'd imagined we shared. Had Matt been a friend rather than a family member, I probably would have cut off contact completely. As it was, on the rare and always outdoor occasions when we saw each other, I spoke in disapproving snippets. Work's been good? Mm-hmm. My frostiness wasn't personal, it was strategic. Being unfriendly to people who turned down the vaccine felt like the right thing to do. How else could we motivate them to mend their ways? He then goes on a long screed about how public shaming and shunning are effective tools to change people's behavior. He is, honestly, I'm telling you, final boss of effete, bougie East Coast libs, David Litt. He was convinced that his wife's younger brother would change his entire worldview just because he, the final boss of effete, bougie East Coast libs, didn't talk to him. He goes on. There has been a sorting into belief camps, algorithmically and in real life. It dictates whom we match with on dating apps and where we live. We block those we disagree with online. We leave the group chat. We don't show up for Thanksgiving. Let me interject here a second. No, that's what libs do. Conservatives don't do that. And in fact, the data actually backs that up, that liberals are far more likely to block someone or to cease contact with someone in quote unquote real life over politics because they simply can't handle political disagreements. Okay. Recent data suggests that today, 1 in 5 Americans is estranged from a family member over politics. I'm guessing 100% of that 1 in 5 is a lib. More points of deep disagreement will surely arise over Trump's immigration crackdown and use of the military and domestic affairs, over Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s MAHA mandates, over anti-Semitism, over a mega bill that takes health care from the poor while cutting taxes for the rich. I'm telling you, final boss, defeat bougie East Coast liberalism. No one is required to spend time with people he or she doesn't care for, but those of us who feel an obligation to shun strategically need to ask, what has all this banishing accomplished? It's not just ineffective,
it's counterproductive. These days, ostracism might just hurt the ostracizer more than the ostracizee. Yeah, wild. As someone who has been ostracized by an entire group of friends, I can tell you, I really do not care and don't miss a single one of them. Sorry, but it's true. When you make the decision that political disagreements are worth more than the bonds of family or deep friendship, it becomes clear to the quote unquote ostracizee that you never really cared about us at all. And you know what? The feeling becomes mutual. He goes on. I wish I could say I learned all this through self-reflection and study. What actually happened is that I started surfing. After moving to the Jersey Shore in 2022, I signed up for lessons. Despite my advanced age of 35 and lack of natural talent, I got hooked. Matt was the only other surfer I knew. I put my principled unfriendliness aside. From the moment we began paddling out together, I could tell my cold shoulder strategy had backfired. I'd spent the peak of the pandemic in a cultural bubble, and he had done the same. No, actually, he hadn't, David. He was forced to listen to your beliefs. You couldn't escape your beliefs. His beliefs were censored by the algorithm at your orders, or your side's orders anyway. Driving to a break or changing into our wetsuits, he'd often express opinions about the merits of vigilantism or the health benefits of Mexican stem cell injections that I found slightly unhinged. Where is this coming from, I wondered. The answer was nearly always Joe Rogan's podcast. Okay, if I were, and he names the guy's full name, Matt Kapler. If I were Matt Kapler, I'd be like, what the hell, dude? Like, you're going to just paint me as the most insane conservative out there. I'm sure Matt Kapler also has pretty well-formed beliefs about limited government, about taxation policy, and that sort of thing. Where is this coming from, he wonders? I assumed our surf buddy experiment would either fail spectacularly or bring Matt over to my side. Neither of those things occur. He assumed by his mere presence, imposing his effete, bougie, East Coast liberalism on his rube of a brother-in-law, that the brother-in-law would abandon his entire belief system. You see, the shunning didn't work from the great effete, bougie lib. But if being in his presence and basking in his genius, that would surely bring him around. Neither of those things occurred. Instead, the connections we found were tiny and unrelated to politics. We agree that Shrimply Irresistible is the perfect so bad it's good name for a seafood restaurant, and that Taylor Swift's Love Story is a classic. Although I still wouldn't call myself a Rogan fan, we share an appreciation for his interview with the surf legend Kelly Slater. Matt and I remain very different, yet we've reached what is in today's America a radical conclusion. We don't always approve of each other's choices, but we like each other. It helped that in the ocean, our places in the pecking order reversed. Matt's a very good surfer. One might call him an elite, and I am not. According to surfing's unwritten rules, he had the right to look down on me, but he never did. His generosity of spirit in the water made me rethink my own behavior on land. In other words, he's saying, Matt is my societal and social inferior. And I look down at, well, you could tell by the smug derision with that's just dripping with every word he's writing about his brother-in-law. Honestly, if I were the brother-in-law, I'd be furious at this. If someone wrote that about me, and trust me, I'm sure I've got extended family members who think it and are not super happy that the most prominent conservative voice in the state is related to them. But just the smugness, this electrician who is a better servant. But shocker, the conservative, who's actually a decent person, didn't behave like the condescending lib behaves. You know why? Because conservatives tend to not do that. When I share stories, he concludes, about surfing with my brother-in-law, people often tell me about relationships in their own lives pushed to the brink by politics. Sometimes they're proud of the ties they've severed. More often, they're hoping for a way forward. How can we pierce bubbles of misinformation? Can friendships fractured in the Trump era be repaired? My advice is always the same. Our differences are meaningful, but allowing them to mean everything is part of how we ended up here. When we cut off contacts or let algorithms sort us into warring factions, we forget that not so long ago, we used to have things to talk about that didn't involve politics. Shunning plays into the hands of demagogues, making it easier for them to divide us and even, in some cases, to incite violence. Now, which side has been encouraging shunning for the past 5 years? That, it would seem, should tell you everything you need to know. I have got, as you could imagine, lots more thoughts on this. I'm sure you do too. I'd love to hear them. That's coming up next on The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Classical conservatism, contemporary style. The Dan O'Donnell Show is coming right back.
From the Lynch Truck Center in Waterford, Total Traffic Center.
Cruz in Wauwatosa with an accident on Burleigh at 112th Street. Northbound 4194 got a stalled vehicle partially blocking the on-ramp from College. Traffic gets by on the right. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Irish Fest, August 14th to 17th.
Céad Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes to Milwaukee Irish Fest, returning to the Henry Meyer Festival Park, August 14th through the 17th, with fun for the whole family. Children 12 and under get in free. Get tickets at irishfest.com.
For many of us, the most important part of our routine between 6 and 9 weekday mornings is to listen to every minute of the Jay Weber Show on WISN. Sadly, sometimes less important elements of our lives get in the way, such as work, children, and bathing. Don't despair. The Jay Weber Show podcast is available 24/7 to fill any gaps in your hunger for entertainment. Just go to newstalk1130.com, click the podcast tab, and enjoy Jay Weber on demand.
It's Dan and it's summertime. Let's face it, we're all looking for a little extra shade at Bayview Shade and Blind. They've been helping Wisconsin beat the heat in style since 1926. From sleek roller shades to elegant Roman and solar options, they have custom solutions that keep your space cool, comfortable, and beautiful. Call or visit Bayview Shade and Blind today to find your perfect shade. Bayview Shade and Blind, sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours.
Are you or a loved one facing addiction? The Wisconsin Addiction Recovery Helpline offers free and confidential support 24/7. Powered by 211 Wisconsin, local trained specialists can help connect you with local service providers for treatment, peer support, harm reduction tools, and more. Call 211, text your zip code to 898-211, or chat at 211wisconsin.org. Help is waiting. Sponsored by United Way of Wisconsin.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell for Mander Collision and Glass, now with 7 locations to serve you across the greater Milwaukee area. Start your repair right now at mandercollision.com. Mander truly is the best decision after a collision.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow famously said, "Into each person's life, some rain must fall." At Ryan Waterproofing, we tend to agree, as long as it's not in your basement. Free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
For safe, purified water right from your faucet, the solution is crystal clear.
Any project, big or small, when it comes to water, one call does it all. SNK, pump and plumbing.
Save big on everything for your next outdoor project when you shop at Menards. Shop our huge in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber, decking, fencing, and timbers. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Get free estimates fast with our easy-to-use fence and deck design programs in-store and on Menards.com. Don't forget to check out our weekly flyer for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Summer is all about making memories, right? Backyard barbecues, road trips, maybe finally getting around to that hiking trail you've been eyeballing. But if you're living with pain, those future memories can be stolen from you. So here's a thought. Call 1-800-4-RELIEF and try Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free daily supplement designed to help your body fight pain. It's a doctor-developed formula made from natural ingredients. Best part? Relief Factor doesn't mask pain. It helps reduce or even eliminate it for good. Whether it's kayaking, running around with the little ones, or just chilling in a hammock, Relief Factor can help you feel better, move better, and do more of the things you love all summer long. So if you're ready to reclaim your summer, head over to ReliefFactor.com or give them a call at 1-800-4-RELIEF. Do it now and get their 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
September 19th and 20th, streaming live only on Hulu. 15 artists, 2 nights, 1 stage. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
Lenovo and the iHeartRadio Music Festival. Tech that hits different. Can your gear keep up with the beat? Lenovo PCs are built for creators, dreamers, and fans who don't hit pause. Visit Lenovo.com for the latest in AI PCs and game-changing tech.
Make News Talk 1130 WISN your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Ozaukee County until 6 p.m. That is currently the only one, I believe, that is active, as the storm system is now moving far to Milwaukee's north, passing West Bend, getting into the Sheboygan area. No more concern about tornadoes, which is a good thing. Just thunder, lightning, heavy rain. You know the rest. Stay tuned. We will have updated coverage if it warrants, but it does seem like the worst of this is now behind us. David Litt is the final boss of effete bougie East Coast liberalism with his piece in the Sunday New York Times. Is it time to stop snubbing your right-wing family? One of the most unintentionally hilarious pieces I think I've read in months. He started snubbing his brother-in-law, you see, because the brother-in-law, a poor, stupid electrician who listens to Joe Rogan, didn't take the COVID vaccine, and it couldn't possibly be because he made an independent health decision. No. It was because he's stupid, and our heroic author found it to be his civic duty to shun him, because, you see, shunning is strategic, and it can help to change behavior. When that didn't work, he reconnected with the brother-in-law a couple of years later over their mutual love of surfing. And he thought his mere re-entry into the brother-in-law's life, his mere presence, his genius would get him to change his mind. Shockingly, it did not. He comes to the ultimate conclusion. This is an Obama speechwriter. This isn't just some random lib, but he is sort of a typical effete, bougie, condescending lib. I'm sure you are thinking of one in your life right now. I know I am. This attitude is so pervasive on the left. They know better than you. You must be stupid simply because you disagree with them. And their presence in your life is such a blessing that to deprive you of it would be such a devastating thing that you would abandon even your deepest held beliefs just to drink the ambrosia, the food, the drink from the gods that is their attention. I mean, my God. My God. Just awful. This is why so many liberals report so much deep dissatisfaction with their lives, because ultimately they are perfectly willing to throw away the only meaningful currency that we have in this world, and that's the relationships that we have with other human beings. That is the impact that we have on other lives and the impact that other lives have on us. It's ultimately the only thing that's worthwhile. I have a brilliant answer during a press conference by the golfer Scottie Scheffler, the world #1 golfer. And no, we don't have time for it, producer Eric. We'll try to get to it tomorrow because it is fantastic. It's a couple days old, but I want to highlight it. And he talks about, why have I devoted my life to winning golf tournaments? There's this couple of seconds of euphoria. And yes, the several $1 million that you get is probably good too. But he says you're constantly chasing this high, but it's not this deeper sense of purpose. It doesn't give you a deeper satisfaction. And he concludes, the only deep satisfaction I have is being a father and being a husband, the relationships I have with those closest to us. Conservatives, much more than liberals, seem to understand that basic, I think, universal truth. Liberals have a tendency not to. They view relationships as largely, I think, transactional. That what can you do for me? What can I do for you? You have displeased me in some way, ergo, I am going to remove you from your life. Like this final boss of effete bougie East Coast liberalism, saying, I am going to deprive you of my presence in your life as punishment for your wrong think. They don't view relationships as the lifeblood of happiness, of the lifeblood of fulfillment. And as a result, because they're so much more willing to throw relationships away over something that's ultimately so superficial as policy, he comes to this big conclusion, wow, we can talk about other stuff and avoid the topics that will lead to us disagreeing and fighting. Oh. Liberals report less satisfaction in their marriages, in their relationships with family, in their relationships with friends, in their relationships with their community, in their relationships with people at church. They don't believe that church can form fulfilling relationships. To say nothing about a fulfilling relationship with God. There is something very deeply wrong about people who make politics and who make human behavior and their desire to control it their ultimate end, their ultimate God. Conservatives are happier not because of that old cliche, ignorance is bliss, but because A, liberalism is forced down our throats nearly constantly. Okay. No matter what TV program we turn on, no matter what algorithm we turn to when we're scrolling, you get liberalism. The final boss of effete bougie East Coast liberalism can go months without ever actually confronting someone who challenges his belief system. When that happens, it's not, I was talking yesterday about cognitive dissonance, where our brain actively rejects evidence that runs contrary to our worldviews. There is open hostility and rage. And I think it's because there is a certain level of narcissism that leftists believe, well, I must be right. I am one of the chosen people, the enlightened people whose job it is to make decisions for the great dumb unwashed. If they don't choose to do what I force them to do, I must punish them. That's narcissistic behavior in the extreme. And I think it's a big reason why liberals in every survey that's ever been done, World Happiness Index, any sort of academic survey that's ever been performed on happiness, on mental health, mental illness, and political affiliation, liberals are far more mentally ill. They are far less satisfied with their lives. Conservatives, meanwhile, tend to be happier. They tend to have more fulfilling relationships, and they tend to be free from a whole lot of mental illness because they don't have this just condescending belief that their fellow man is a stupid sheep who needs to be ordered around and put into the pen and shunned if necessary. This is a remarkable, this unintentionally hilarious op-ed into the New York Times. It is a truly insightful look into way too many liberals' psyches. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. Conservative thought, not just talk. Coming right back after this.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Northbound on 4145 going to be slow from Mayfair up to Hampton. Got southbound delays, Appleton to Capitol. 43 northbound jammed from Fond du Lac to Center and southbound Locust to the Marquette. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Irish Fest, August 14th to 17th.
Céad Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes to Milwaukee Irish Fest, returning to the Henry Meyer Festival Park, August 14th through the 17th, with fun for the whole family. Children 12 and under get in free. Get tickets at irishfest.com.
When the temperature goes up, so do your expenses. More sunscreen, mist fans, and ice-cold adult beverages. Supplement your income by playing the nationwide Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest 9 times each weekday. Listen for a keyword to enter at newstalk1130.com, and you could win $1,000.
That would buy a lot of cheese curds at the county fair.
The Sizzlin' Summer Cash Contest is presented by the friendly experts at Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. With 1,300 vehicles in one place, it's worth the trip. HolidayAutomotive.com.
Tony Evers and the Madison Democrats are too weak and too radical, but the same old career politicians can't stop them.
I'm Bill Berrien, a former Navy SEAL and Wisconsin manufacturer. I'm an outsider and a businessman, just like President Trump. I'm running for governor to advance the Trump agenda, shake up Madison, and put Wisconsin citizens first.
Let's fire the bureaucrats. Hire the outsider. Bill Berrien for governor. Paid for by Bill for Governor.
Toast to 25 seasons of American Family Field at the Brewers game on Friday, July 25th. Celebrate with a pregame ceremony, a postgame home run derby featuring Prince Fielder and more legends, plus special offers. Get your tickets at brewers.com.
Running a business is hard enough, and then Congress comes along with a law that could change your plan. I'm Dave Spano from Annex Wealth Management, inviting you to an online webinar, The One Big Beautiful Bill, What Business Owners Need to Know, July 17th. Whether you're planning on selling, expanding, or just getting started, this is for you. That's Thursday, July 17th, The One Big Beautiful Bill, What Business Owners Need to Know. Register now at events.annexwealth.com.
Marketing a modern business means finding and serving your customers 24/7 wherever they are. WISN broadcasts are a powerful platform, but there's so much more. WISN's online digital tools are completely customizable, so you can reach your ideal customer through the iHeart app or by using software that actually finds your customers at a specific location or event. These tools are precise, efficient, measurable marketing weapons that you need to use. Combine the power and cloud of WISN's broadcast and digital platforms right now. Go to newstalk1130.com, keyword digital.
Water running back to your foundation due to settling concrete can lead to extremely expensive foundation repairs.
even mold and bacteria in your home.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Puts existing concrete back to grade, keeping water away from your foundation for a fraction of patio or driveway replacement cost.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
For a free estimate today.
MudTech, 262-337-0934.
Permanently fixes asphalt with state-of-the-art technology. Uneven sagging stairs and walkways are easily evened out for less than you are guessing with M to the U to the D to the T to the E to the C to the H.
262-337-0934.
The cost of having southeastern Wisconsin's premier concrete releveling and asphalt repair technicians at MudTech.
262-337-0934.
Restore your paved surfaces today is a fraction of the cost of replacement tomorrow. Call right now.
262-337-0934.
MudTechWorks.com.
Let Tri-County Contracting take care of the outside of your home so you don't have to. Worry-free roofing, siding, and windows from Tri-County Contracting. Call us at 262-679-6100 or visit us online at tricountycontractingwi.com.
Extremely friendly and personable staff, great experience all around. That's from Colin, who knows the secret to great no-hassle auto repair, engine and transmission exchange. What a gift to southeastern Wisconsin. With today's high-tech vehicles especially, just about everyone wonders, am I being treated fairly? I don't know anything about cars. Well, I and hundreds of WISN listeners over the years can tell you, you will be if you take your vehicle to Engine and Transmission Exchange. They have two locations, on West Avenue in Waukesha or on South 27th in Milwaukee. ETE is a place you can absolutely trust. They'll give you an honest diagnosis and a quality repair. Kenneth says they did a complicated engine job for him at a fair price, then says they also saw my Navy cap and immediately gave me a military discount. Awesome. He says I live in Germantown and would gladly come back to Waukesha for service here. Engine and Transmission Exchange has ASE certified technicians in every field of auto repair, and they work on every make and every model. See enginetrans.com for details. Enginetrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Here's what's trending now on the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
You know what they say, time flies when you're having a lot of fun. Because can you believe it's already been 1 year of iHeart Women's Sports? It's the go-to spot for stories, wins, and real talk from the biggest names in the game. From the court to the field, even behind the scenes. Voices like Sarah Spain, Ashley Harris, and a whole lineup of legends are leading the charge. Check it out and celebrate 1 year of iHeart Women's Sports right now on iHeartRadio.
Explore the latest. Open the free iHeartRadio app and see what's trending now.
Dan Small here. Join me for the latest info on your favorite outdoor activities. Saturday morning at 6 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Brought to you by Remy Battery, serving Milwaukee since 1931. RemyBattery.com.
Injured? Call Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
I often wonder how many people in our listening audience have been shunned by a liberal family member or a friend, or just had a relationship end over it. I'm willing to wager it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 70%. Producer Eric says 80 to 90. You have, I assume. Someone just didn't want to talk to you anymore. Mine was kind of remarkable because it coincided with, so I started doing a daily talk radio show on January 3rd, 2017. That just happened to be a couple of weeks before Donald J. Trump was sworn in as the 45th president. And an entire group of friends from my past, I had known for almost 15 years at the time, just sort of said, we're done with Dan and Megyn. And we were sort of like, oh, okay. You know, I don't know what to say. If it stings, because if a friendship, or if even worse, a sibling relationship or parent-child relationship means that little to you, that you're willing to throw it away because you don't like how the other person votes, or in my case, you don't like what I say on the radio, that speaks volumes about you, not the person whose presence you're depriving yourself of. And ultimately, that's it.
I mean, I've got tons of it. One of my best friends from college, huge liberal. You know what we talk about? Television. Huge TV fan. The new season of Squid Game is what he and I have been texting about. The fact that it's this great revelation that politics isn't all-consuming, I think says a whole lot about the liberal psyche. This obsession with Donald Trump. There has never been, not Hillary Clinton, not Barack Obama, certainly not Bubba. There has not been a single figure on the left ever hated an iota of the amount that Donald Trump and it's not like Trump is some unique super Hitler. George W. Bush was every bit as they wanted to try him for war crimes at The Hague. Ronald Reagan before him, Nixon before him. My God, Democrats were so mad at Abraham Lincoln because he took away their slaves. They left the country. They rebelled. They started a war because they wanted to keep black people as slaves. Yeah. Democrats started a war because they hated a Republican so much because he told them you can't keep black people as slaves anymore. That is a historical fact. And now I can see why a whole lot of people don't like me, because I am really, really good at twisting the knife of uncomfortable facts for Democrats and libs. But I'm telling you, if politics is your life, it is your if it's your North Star, if it is your God, you will always be angry. You will always be disappointed. You will always just not feel fulfilled. Because ultimately, I'm telling you, your relationship with somebody who you might not think of as being your equal is worth 10,000 times whoever it is sitting in the Oval Office. Because that changes every 4 or 8 years. Your relationship with a parent or a brother or a best friend, that's lifelong. That's permanent. And that's a little bit deeper than I thought I was going to get while making fun of the final boss of effete, bougie East Coast liberalism, David Litt. It was truly an insightful piece on, not shunning your conservative Rube family members and friends. We will be back tomorrow with another edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. Got to end a little bit early because we got one more commercial break to get to. Sean Hannity up after the news. Have a great evening, Wisconsin. We'll talk to you tomorrow.